Oh,
It's all you, Icy.
Welcome back to Tri Virtual Roundtable. Thank you for coming back and enjoying your time with us. What do we got going on today? We're going to talk a little bit about the multiverse, and then we're going to do something right after that.
Is that Iceman? Is that what's gonna happen?
That's natural.
Are you sure that's what's gonna happen?
Look, yeah,
Yes,
everybody, thank you for coming.
This is what happens when you put me in the lead. Okay, let's do this. Let's
We
do
have a
this.
fantastic show for you today.
Doc, you want to actually? Why don't we have Katherine talk a little bit first? Brief thing about what's going on in the multiverse with her.
what's going on in the multiverse with me? I'm building up my new area called Serenity Cove.
Whoop whoop! I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah, I just added a new plot onto Serenity Cove. So now Serenity Cove is 3 plots large. And we have a hub screen so people can find us.
And
Yeah,
for those who
yeah.
don't know where her plots are is in the multiverse platform or VR platform,
Yes,
in
it
which we
is.
all met
Yeah.
and became
Yeah.
best of friends there. So
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Kat.
Media for You just got a storefront over in there.
Yes, you did. Media for You. Yes.
Yes. All right. So I'll give my little input for multiverse. So real quick, this past week we played our last episode and it's all posted in the multiverse. We had an opportunity to have a lot of people come in and watch the episode and was sitting there, and it felt really good to be able to see everyone in there watching, laughing, and joking at what we're doing. And I really want to thank all of you multiverse family out there for your support. I'm just going to do a quick shout out. Christopher Trump, thank you today for your help.
Amazing.
We appreciate it. Hopefully some of you guys are watching that he sent the link out to. So please welcome. And for those of you that are watching and watching this live, we're watching the chat. So if you guys have some comments, go on and say some comments. Let us know your thoughts on what we're talking about today, because today is going to be a little bit of a little bit deeper conversation today, but we're ready. Doc, you got something?
Yeah, my little tidbit. You want to give a shout out to Sherry Holmes, who has her Legacy Coins collection in the gallery. Give a shout out to Dudes in Color, in which I'm ordering one of his products. We could talk about that more at a later time. He's in VR healthcare, and he has some really great nutritional products. And Katherine, you're in there. Jordan Essentials. You're in VR healthcare as well.
Yeah.
And also, a little love to Chronic, because Chronic started up. Yeah, Chronic. Jerry has started back up his paranormal district, back to what he loves. And
I saw that.
I saw that. So, but no, that's it for now. And we'll give everybody, additional shout outs in the future. And I also told a lot of people we're looking forward to interviewing them in the future.
Yes. Yep.
Hey, there's another
Definitely.
one. How about the coins with said Mason? His coins are going out this week.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just
That's right. You got your coin?
I don't have mine yet. I should get it
Catherine,
tomorrow.
you lost your camera. You lost your thing.
Oops, shoot.
No worries.
There's my coin. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to give Seth his love. I got my apartment today over his place. So
there you go.
Let's get going on this great show.
All right.
We have coming up.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc. Can I talk? Finally, I get to say something?
You do get to say something now, I see.
I'd just like to say, it was awesome seeing people jump in there and watching the podcast. The only thing that's bad is that everybody jumps in at different times. So people are laughing and they just don't know what everybody's laughing at. But I loved seeing all the people that were in there watching it. The other thing is Cassandra. I spent some time yesterday in there with her, and then Harmony jumped in. Amazing art that she does in there. Her galleries are just so awesome. And I just want to give a shout out to her because I started going through. Yeah, I just started going through her stuff again.
I want to comment on those pictures and the images so mad right now, but I'm not. We're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Yes.
We'll talk about that when I get my apartment done with those.
Yep. With those. With those what? I see. Never mind. We're not going to do that. Nope. Keep going.
Nope, we're not.
We're not. Yes, I know. Go.
So,
all right.
So our regular programming.
Ice, you ready?
Yeah.
He's got his glasses now.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. You're going to have to bear with me. I didn't have time to memorize it because Katherine's so amazing that there's just a lot of stuff to say about her.
All right.
Yep. Today, we have a very special guest among us, a woman whose courage and resilience has turned personal pain into a powerful message. Katherine L. Carter is the author of Weight of Dysfunction, which you can find on Amazon. A deeply personal and eye-opening book about her journey through domestic violence. In it, she shares her story with raw honesty, shedding light on the struggles many face behind closed doors and the strength it takes to break free. Katherine's story isn't just about survival, it's about reclaiming power, finding healing, and inspiring others to do the same. She's here today to share her experiences, discuss the impact of the domestic violence, and offer hope to those who may need it during these challenges, similar challenges. Katherine, welcome to the show officially.
Woo!
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
He cared so much about what you're going to speak on. He didn't want to get anything. He didn't want to miss a point. And I think that's a testament.
I agree.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. I am a little nervous.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
you're
Man,
good.
that's perfect.
That's
All
good.
right. But yeah, I wanted to make sure it was all said, because I listened, for me personally, I listened to her book, and the thing that I got out of it, I'm just going to tell my experience with this first, is I found myself separating from who the person I knew, and I was drawn into the story, and then I had to realize this is actually my friend that's going through this. And then all of a sudden it hit me even worse. Like I got chills down my back when I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, I know this person. Like it was a shock that it's separated. In the beginning, I didn't get it, and then once I realized it, it's even more impactful, looking at it that way. It was just, yeah, it was pretty sad at times, but she's, she made it through, and
she made
it.
that's what her whole story's
Thank
about.
you.
So, Katherine, just real quick, tell us a little bit about what inspires you to write the book first off. What compelled you to write the book, and kind of if you can give us like a little kind of synopsis of your book, that would be helpful.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a journal accounting. So I was writing it over those 10, 11 years that the book takes place. So because of the pain I was going through, I put it down. It was a catharsis to be able to write it as I was going through it. And years later, I mean, I'm an author. I've always been an author, poetry, short stories, everything, magazine articles. But I was looking for a topic to write. I wanted to do another book. And then it came to me one morning, girl, you already have the information for your book.
It's already there.
It's already there. So I went and pulled out that diary from a long time ago because I kept it. It was not really the diary that you think of with the little lock and stuff. It was just a book that I had written everything down in, and I just went through it, and I what is the word I'm looking for? I gleaned it. Better word. I gleaned it and everything. Got it ready. Book ready. A friend of mine had a publisher, and I used that publisher. And there's Weight of Dysfunction.
Nice.
And that title came to me. I mean, I was wondering, what do I call this? God is so good. Let me tell you something. God is so good, because when you're asking for answers for things, it just comes into you sometimes. It just pours in. Yeah. And it was just, I mean, it all just came to me, and I knew I was doing the right thing. Some people don't think so, but I knew I was doing the right thing.
It's not about them. It's not about them.
No, there was a second part to your question, and now I forgot what it was.
Give us a little bit about what the book's about. So for our viewers and listeners and anybody watching or listening, kind of give us a little bit of what the book was about a little bit.
Okay. Well, the book is about my life in my first marriage, and the turmoil that I went through, the uh, abuse. And one thing I do want to clarify to people: abuse isn't just physical, although there was physical abuse in my situation. But abuse is not just physical. And my book is going through those 10 years. I was married for 18, and it's the final 10 years of the marriage that I went through. I just felt that it needed to be heard. That's why, I mean, there's just so much abuse. I mean, it's for not just women, but men too. So that was my
Catherine,
inspiration.
I think a lot of people don't understand the commonness of abuse,
Hmm.
especially from a spousal perspective. People think of it from it just comes from maybe people you meet, a boyfriend, but people will be amazed at some of the stats. And I want to get it right myself. Like I said, we're three old guys, so usually we just kind of go from the top of the head. But
Yeah.
like Iceman, I want to be specific. So in the U.S., approximately 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience rape, physical violence, and/or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. About 10 million people experience domestic violence each year. That's 10 million. Okay. And 1 in 5 adults experience domestic abuse during their lifetime. And with those type of statistics, it really brings home the need to have an understanding of what to look out for,
Right.
how to not get into that situation. I know that's difficult. It's easiest for to say. It's easy for us to say, but at the end of the day, people find themselves in that position. My question for you: did you find that this book gave you a level of healing um, once you were able to put it down on paper and kind of get it out your system and just to understand what happened to you?
Well, yes. Actually, during the time that I was writing it, when I was keeping the journal, it did give me a little bit of a catharsis while I was writing it. It helped me writing it down. It was like I was talking to somebody, that somebody was listening, because I didn't really feel I had um, the
Voice.
network that to be able to speak, because I had nobody would believe me. People think that you have family and stuff like that, you can't talk to family about everything. So writing it down was a big help for me. But still, I had PTSD for a while afterwards. So, and
Yeah.
then there's still some of that lingering. I'm not going to say it's completely gone, because there might be a trigger here or there somewhere that brings something up.
We were discussing that.
Yeah, and well, you probably will ask me later about the remaining parts of my life, but
Of course.
because because you don't choose wisely all the time.
Right. Right. Our picker is
That's
sometimes
right.
broke.
I'm not gonna bring that up. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Leave
Yeah.
that for bingo.
Right. Right.
I'm
By
not
the
gonna
way, I
bring it
need a
up.
caller, and I got three of mine sitting right here.
Really. All right. So
I guess we're cornered, guys.
Yeah. Well,
So, okay, go on.
No, I had a question. So I like the way you did your journal with years. It was easy to keep track of what was going on, because when you heard that it's a Thanksgiving or something, you know, what year it is. You kind of piece it all in a timeline in your head when you're listening or reading it. If you could pick a name of a chapter that after it's over, after everything was done and you now moved on, and your life started again, if there was an extra chapter, what would a title be for that? Like, what would you call that chapter in your life?
Continuing mistake.
Continuing with faith. Okay.
No, no,
That's
no, no,
awesome.
no.
No,
I
no, that's
said,
not what she said.
Oh, I
I
thought she
said,
said faith.
no,
No, that's not what she
what
said.
did you
What
say?
she said.
I
Mistakes.
said continuing mistake.
So
Okay.
so I looked through the book
That's
as well,
interesting.
and I thought of a title for one of your chapters. 1987. I'm not gonna say his name because people want to know his name. They can find the book, but I'm gonna call, I guess, the human jackass. At the end of the day, the way the way
I'm gonna call him Jack. Okay.
okay, we'll call him Jack. We'll call him
Jack,
Jack.
yeah, just
My
for podcast
and
sake.
that was the part that was part of my book. Oh, you can blurb that out, I guess. Is
Yeah.
that a bad word? You got
No,
donkeys, man.
no, it's
Anyway,
not.
at the end of the day, I kind of felt for you how, I mean, I guess he was sort of bipolar because he just kept going back and forth. 1 minute, and one of the sentences you said something like, "Now he's being civil," but
Yes.
it's like the next whatever how you had in the timeline. The next timeline, he was being a jack again. And I just feel bad for you because it's like, it seems like that was the common theme throughout the book. Like people would act one way, and then all of a sudden there'll be a Jack
A
the
flip.
next
Yep.
day. And that's in everybody. But like when
Yep.
women are dating a man or man dating a woman, everybody puts on this facade for a period of time, and then they want to be different. They want to put up this front. And I know that's difficult to deal with, but how did you handle that? How did you get through it? Even in that same motion, you said you just couldn't wait to get away.
It was, yeah, and it was it was
Yeah,
difficult because
Jack.
in 1987 my fourth child was born, and during that period of time, it was right at the beginning when I found out I was pregnant that I discovered he was having an affair with my best friend.
Mm.
Yeah. Right after, I mean, I find out I'm pregnant one day, and like a day or two later, it was Monday Night Football. I remember he was at her house for Monday Night Football, and her husband
Oh
called
my
me,
gosh.
and he said, because we had just gotten a brand new, I mean, one of the, I don't know if you guys remember, but they used to have the best, what was it, a Toyota van. It was the most marvelous thing. It had a
The
moonroof.
Sienna,
It
is that
had a sunroof. No, it was a Toyota. It had a moonroof, a sunroof, a refrigerator inside. We had just bought that, and he had it
oh,
parked out in front of her house.
Okay,
And
so
oh. So
can
Jack
we get
Jack was to say the least not the
what
best
was a Rolling Stone?
at
yeah,
all.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When
I have oh, sorry. Go on.
no, when I was reading it, I felt a lot of disconnect from him, all throughout it. Like very little
Big
reconnect with
theme.
you, and more just like you're a roommate. That's it. That's kind of what I was getting when I was reading it over and over, and it built up over
Throughout the
time.
theme, yeah.
Yep.
I
I'm
have a
sorry. Go
question.
ahead.
So on currently, when something's going on or a song, a smell, or something that might trigger those feelings that come back again,
Bring it back.
when those bring back those memories and those do you get triggered by those? And if you do get triggered, what type of reactions happen? And kind of a follow-up, what do you use to get past it?
It is really not that severe anymore because, as you see, that from the year of the book, when the book ended in what, 1990 something.
Too.
Yeah, so the triggers aren't that bad for that particular one, but we can go on and talk about the rest of them.
That's the next book, right? That's the next book. That's
Only
the next book.
but I didn't keep a good accounting of those. So
Well, that's
you know,
okay. I'm sure it's fresh in your mind.
especially the fourth one. The fourth one was a humdinger. But anyway,
Oh, the fourth what? The fourth what?
fourth marriage.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? She's
No.
still looking for the right
Yeah.
one.
I'm still looking. Yeah,
I
I'm
told her to
still
go to
looking.
7-Eleven and be engaged before she get home.
Wow, you drink that kind of milk? Hey, let's go out.
Yeah. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Yeah. We're
Hey kids, I'll
start
be
right out of
back.
the gate. Start right out of the gate. They open. Let me open that fridge for you. Thanks,
I
babe.
didn't start it. You said it. I didn't say nothing about the 12 times you were married. No, I'm not
Oh,
saying nothing about.
wait. Oh, hold it. There was not 12 times. Although I was engaged, two more in there. So,
I will say this though. Okay, so and
okay.
I'm gonna tie in the metaverse where we all know and love each other from.
Wait. I wanted
Um,
her to finish my
none of
question.
you had a question.
Yeah,
The
well, she
triggering,
didn't
and
finish
she
it. Yeah.
says, yeah, she didn't.
Oh,
Well, the
okay.
follow up,
The follow up was when you are triggered, how does it affect you now? Like, what do you do to get past it? What's your
does it
mechanisms
help?
that you have in place to
I
get
was
past
tying that in.
those that whatever when it does trigger you?
Well, for a time, and it's not now, but for a time, I had a problem where I was eating everything in sight. So that I went up to, I mean, I'm only 5 feet tall. This little thing here. Actually, they have me in the thing. It's 4'11.9, but we won't go there.
But you're like, nah.
But I was eating everything in sight, and I went up to almost 300 pounds. So yeah. Yeah.
And this was after, this was after, correct?
Well,
After
during my marriage to him, I did that too. But then at the end of the marriage, I started losing weight because I had an eating disorder. That's something that I don't tell everybody, but now everybody knows, America, I had an eating disorder.
We all
well,
have something we struggle with.
it is, but see,
Everyone.
that's
Everyone.
that's the domestic abuse that's not physical. This is stuff that happened to you that makes these kind of things happen. You know,
Right.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so
And the fight with
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say when you talk about the coping mechanisms, that's why I was gonna tie in the metaverse, and I think us as a metaverse family that we help a little bit, and that's only because you and I have conversations
Yes.
in the metaverse, and I think that's the power of it that people don't really understand. You get to know people from a kind of a hybrid perspective. You don't meet them in real life, but you kind of really get to know them over time. We've had some great conversations and discussed about it, and sometimes I'll joke around a bit, but we've had some
Yeah,
good,
you
close,
do.
and personal conversations. And I know you've been through a lot, you've dealt a lot. So I think us as a metaverse family have helped allowed
Quite a
that to
bit.
be one of your
Quite a bit.
coping
Yeah.
mechanisms of
Yeah.
Well,
your history of trauma.
I have found that very weird that I grown so attached to people and I would consider them friends, and you get empathy for them when something, you find out something happens in their lives. I'm not going to in examples, but like you find out something personal happens and it's like you feel for them. You're like, what can I do to
Yes.
help? I'm in
Yes.
another state, but what can I do? If
Yeah.
something a
What
little
can I
simple,
do?
even if it's something simple, like, I mean, giving a few dollars or making a post or whatever,
And
like
we have,
whatever it is. But
and
Uh-huh.
we have.
I feel
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
have to, I'm encouraged to do that
Right.
for these people that I met just on a headset.
Yes,
Exactly.
some people don't understand that, but you feel closer to people. You don't you don't actually see them, but, the visual isn't always the thing. It's the feel of the person. You can almost feel and sense their aura and their being right through the avatar.
If you're open to it, you definitely can
Yes.
feel
100%. 100%.
that's yeah.
Yes. Speaking of which, we were. I was talking with Peaches just a little while ago, and she was talking to Sid and explaining how her situation that she went through when her high blood pressure went in. So she went into the Harmony Towers room, she went into the worship rooms, and just was able to have that peace
Mhm.
and watch some videos and relax. It brought her blood pressure down. She didn't have to go to the hospital. So it just really just those type of experiences in there that are really
Yeah.
cool when someone has a place to go and to be able to have that comfortable feeling to relax them.
I
Yeah,
have
I'm
because
glad we
music
were able to
too.
help.
she can't get out physically a lot, and for her to, that's the whole thing about virtual reality. Like you can go places and still be
Mhm.
at home. So yeah, she
Exactly.
found
Right.
a
I have
place to.
music rooms that I go into and listen to jazz. Jazz does a
Mm-hmm.
good thing
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah,
me.
I've been
I
to your
like to
jazz
go in
room.
and listen to
Yes.
jazz. Yeah.
That helps you
Yeah.
cope with the
Yeah.
history too,
Mhm.
Okay,
especially in
Iceman.
traumatic
I got
experiences.
yeah, I got a question.
Yep, he
So
does.
when you grabbed it, when you thought there's a book I want to write, and you grabbed the journal and you started reading through it, and you're like, this is going to be my next book. Was there any entries, journal entries that you decided not to put in for whatever reason? Or do you regret putting any in that you really like, I shouldn't have put that in? Is now looking back all these times, would you expanded them, or did that even happen? Did you put it all in or leave some out?
Good question. Because yes, I did go through that when I was going through it, and it was really tough, actually, going through all that history again. It was tough. Sometimes I had to put it down, and I just couldn't. I couldn't cope with it sometimes. Sometimes it was really hard. But yes, there was a couple of things I did leave out because they were sensitive to my children.
Okay.
So I didn't want to put
Understandable.
a lot of things in there that I thought would embarrass them. But they don't like my having done the book anyway. So that's another story.
That was
I was
actually
going
going to
to
be my next. That was my next
say,
question.
did they read the unedited one with the
Right.
entry still in it? I was just curious about that.
But did I send you an unedited one?
No, 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 no.
No,
He was
no.
saying your kids
Say, have your kids, did they read the full journal?
They have not
beforehand,
read
before it
my
was
book.
published.
They have
Okay,
not
so
read
that was
my
actually my next question was when the book was coming out or when you were in the process of making the book and putting it together, what was the time period going on in your life? Like the kids, the age, their responses to you writing this book, and what was their response? How did, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, that's
what is
actually
their
really good.
response now or back then when it
Back
was
then
going on?
and
Both,
now,
both.
both,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. When it was going on, they were there. It's really they were actually a major part of it because, well, there's one part about the pizza, uh, about going to the pizza, and he yelled at me because the pizza
Yeah.
hadn't arrived. And that was, we had at the time we had one car, and there was the little kids. What was I supposed to do? And but the kids were always totally involved, and I guess they may not remember any of this, or they don't, because
Selective
they
memory.
don't even speak of it to me. It's almost like I did a bad thing in writing the book. Now, I could be wrong, but they've never spoken about it to me, except for my youngest son. My youngest son has a book. I did give it to him. He read 1987 because that's when he was born. He read it.
That one
Yeah,
keeps coming up. I'm gonna have to
yeah,
reread that
no,
He
one.
exactly.
only
I was
he
thinking the
wanted
same thing.
he only wanted to know
So
the
they
part
know
about
Jack.
himself.
Yeah,
Well, they know Jack.
They do.
so they're familiar with Jack. Okay,
But
yeah.
what really hurts me as far as my children are concerned and anybody else, because there is another woman who's not related to me, but associated with our family. And I said to her, I wrote a book. She goes, yeah, I know. And she said, I'll read it if you give it to me, but I'm not buying it like that. And I went, wow. And she knew
Wow.
nothing. She knew nothing about it, only what she had been told by somebody else.
Right.
So this is a thing of domestic violence too. People attack the person who's the victim like they are the ones who are wrong. All of that stuff I went through, and everybody's just pushing that out and feeling sorry for him. And I just don't understand that.
Yes. And when you plainly see the abuse and there's people involved and you've got, situations that you can list and go down the line and you're just sitting here going, does anyone not see me going through this right now? And that's where we got to step back and say, where's that compassion for the other person, where it becomes not selfish and it becomes not about me, and where can I look at this particular situation and see how everyone is feeling in this situation. So if you're feeling this, then Katherine, yes, you are going through this. Let's get through it and address it instead of just sweeping it under the rug and letting someone else skate free in a
Well,
way.
actually, in saying this stuff on here to you guys, and I've had a couple of interviews on New York radio stations. Thank you to my friend
Nice.
Tina D.
Hey,
Tina.
Tina. Speaking of Tina, Groove City, Groove City, Groove
Tina
City,
D of
Groove
Groove
City,
City.
Groove
She's
City.
gotten me a couple of interviews with
Nice.
personalities on her radio station. But speaking here with you guys who are friends and very close, I mean, you're my three favorite guys in the. Let me not.
You gotta make people jealous.
Say
Yeah,
Don't
this.
say
yep,
that.
yeah. Be
Just
careful. Be careful.
we're amongst your
Be careful.
favorites.
We'll accept. No. But let me say this. We will accept what you were gonna say,
Okay.
but be careful.
You don't need to
Yeah.
say it.
But
You don't need to
but
say it.
I
Jealous.
work with
Because
you
I know
guys.
I'm your favorite. Hell with them two.
But I work with you guys, and we've gotten close. I mean, we've gotten closer since you started this podcast. So, and I really appreciate your
Definitely.
friendship. But it's been a help for me to be able to just say this to you and to be able to discuss how my family is making me feel because of it. Because they treat me like I'm the creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, that's
Okay.
how I
So how
feel. Yeah.
so how many? There's how many of them? Three or how many? Two, three?
I have I have a daughter who lives in Atlanta, and I have three sons who live here where I do. And I
Okay,
had
so let me talk to
brain
them for a
numbers.
second. Let me talk to them for just one
That's what
second.
I was gonna do. Good
let
job.
me talk to them for just 1 second. This is your mom. Okay. I lost my mom, unfortunately, recently. This is your mom. She was hurting. You need to understand that this is the process that she needed to go through to deal with all of the stuff that she had to go through. So, putting aside whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, this is what mom needed to do to deal with the situation. So, suck it up, go talk to your mom, tell her how much you love her, and move on. Okay, so
But you don't want that kind of regret. You don't want these kind of regrets.
you do not. I will definitely say
Yeah.
that.
And how about I'm just not gonna say anything because I got a whole bunch of words, cursing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Jack,
do it. So I'm just gonna say,
Jack,
I'll just go
I'm
with
sorry,
you.
Jack, what was that?
I'll just follow
Can I
your
call you
road.
Jack? Can I call you
But
right now
yeah,
in your mind? Jack is look at his face. I know. So from a parent, trust me, talk to your mom. This is her process. This is what happened to her. Understand that it's real. And whatever feelings you have towards dad or mom, just understand this was the process that she needed to go through. So we're going to move forward from that.
but when I say it bothers me a little bit because I know how sweet she is.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. That right there is exactly it.
If Catherine was off the chain and just all left and right, it'd be like, damn, I see why you can't get nothing right. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard.
But
Out of
she's
pocket.
such a sweetheart,
Yes.
but she's
It's
such a
hard
sweetheart.
it's hard to say it because we see her differently than her kids did growing up. So they experience a different dynamic
Catherine.
than we could ever imagine. So like
Mhm.
I'm not giving them a pass. I think they should definitely not sever any communication. They should definitely don't waste that
Yeah.
No,
time.
no, no. She
No. They're
communicates
not
with
Yeah,
No,
severing
no, I'm saying
communication.
no, I know.
her.
Just saying
They
in
talk.
general, like they shouldn't they shouldn't get mad or whatever because of the stuff she was going through and the way she used to cope with it was to this
Exactly.
book. I mean, they should have they should put them. I would hope they could put themselves in her shoes, but it's a hard thing when with kids.
Recognize what good of a mom you have.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
We recognize.
Uh-huh.
thanks. Thanks.
Yep. Definitely.
And could be one of their problems could be, if you notice, I dedicated my book to a person, and that person was my fourth ex-husband. And the reason I did is because he paid for me to have my book published. And they don't care for him, they don't like him, and it could be that maybe their bitterness comes from the fact that he had anything to do with it, but he had nothing to do with the content. He had nothing to do with my feelings. All he did was pay the publisher.
And write a
So
check.
You had to
That's
let that
it.
he
out.
wrote it. Yeah.
That's it.
And so, and that was it. So yeah, it's all me. It has nothing to do with him at all.
It was
He
your
didn't
process.
encourage me. It was my process, my book. I did it, it was my catharsis in doing it because I
Mm-hmm.
carried that for a little while, and it really bothers me that he is treated like he is when he comes into town. It's like dad's here,
Lay out the red
and
carpet.
yeah, and I get treated most of the time like I'm not here, and I do isolate. I'm an introvert, and I isolate a lot, and I think that's a lot because I've had the abuse as a kid, and all of the marriages, actually, all of them. Yeah.
How
Cast number
how old?
2. So we'll just continue this
Well,
podcast
I
and
just
we'll
got
have
one
no,
question.
I'm just
Yeah, I
kidding.
would definitely have no. We'll have to do
Yeah,
a
I'm
part 2
kidding.
to this. I think, don't you?
Yeah.
Catherine, would you be okay with a
Yeah.
follow up with just
I
mainly
know
a
because a
question?
lot of stuff now just went into my head of past stuff. So just keep going. I see you got a question going.
How this fourth husband? How old were your kids during that?
Well, the older two were teenagers. One was in. They were both in. I think the older two were in college, and the younger two were 8 and 12, I believe.
Okay, so they were still
No,
some
wait.
of them
Oh,
were,
wait.
were
Wait.
young.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm going with my second husband. See, there's so many I can't say. That's how they were when.
Hey.
No. Oh
I
my
ain't
God.
saying that, Catherine. I ain't
No.
saying that.
No.
Oh, how
With the
many you
last.
got?
Jeez, with
Sorry.
the
I'm
last.
sorry.
Wait, how
That
many
was
husbands and
that
how many
was I'm
marriages?
sorry.
Is
That
that a
was
different
husband
number?
2.5. That was
Uh,
husband 2.5. That was 2.5.
hey,
Sorry.
you gotta
Sorry.
write. You
No.
gotta
No.
write
So,
that down. You gotta write a book. Just
Yeah, you write a book about your marriages so we can all understand.
With the
can you
last
give us
husband.
a spreadsheet? Can you give us a spreadsheet, please?
Cliff Notes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No. Hey,
Chat
guys, this is a
GPT it
serious
for me.
subject. Stop it. Okay.
A little levity is okay. That's fine. With the last husband, though, they were adults. They were adults.
Oh, they were complete
They were
Okay.
adults.
adults.
Okay.
Yeah, they were adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
Wait.
good.
Chronic was able. Chronic.
Hey.
Welcome to
Welcome
the
to the podcast.
podcast. I didn't know you had an option to do that right now, but I sent out that link and you decided to join us.
Did he have a question? Did he have a question for her?
Wait, hold
His
on.
audio's messed up.
Oh, hold on. Let's get your computer going. Hold on.
Audio.
I think it's too much audio. We can kind of hear you.
It's got cricket internet.
Yeah.
Chronic.
Welcome to Tri Virtual Roundtable.
Table.
Those who watching, Chronic is
Yeah.
also a friend of ours from the
Yeah.
metaverse in
Yeah, he
VR.
is. Yeah.
Great guy as
He
well.
runs the
The industry.
mafia, multiverse
Didn't-
mafia.
Wait,
Yeah.
watch this.
Paranormal.
No, he's back. Chronic. What?
No, he's
Yeah.
not back.
No, he's kind of back. Yep, he's big smile though.
I don't see him on mine. Anyway.
Hold on. I'll
Someone's
pause
off.
it. Yep, I'll pause it. Didn't know I could. We set that up that way. Yeah. Uh-oh, here he is. He's. Hold on.
He's fighting to get back.
Yeah, he's fighting.
You can make it.
Yeah.
He's off.
Okay, there's the book.
Yep,
Catherine,
that's the book.
Uh-oh, we can't hear Catherine. What did I do here? I think that was my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't touch anything this time.
No, it was
Okay,
all me.
Beautiful. Then it's
Sorry about that. We
beautiful
had some
now.
technical difficulties. So we
Yeah.
got thunderstorms and like the hails, size of baseball. So excuse our technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So, Catherine, my last part of this, and I'm sure everybody had their final question, and this is an easy one, and not easy for you to answer it, but in terms of everybody would know this is coming. What advice would you give a young lady who's deciding, hey, this is the guy? What do you think she should look for? I guess
Red flags.
you can't really. Yeah. What
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. What
Exactly.
red flags would you look for?
She
What they
should
have to
pay
look.
attention to the red flags, first of all, because many of us see them. Oh, they're flashing out there, but do we pay attention? My first thing is pay attention to the red flags. Some of the red flags are if if they're not really into you, and you can tell that, you can feel that, you know that. If and you should get to know them a little bit more, because I could tell you like you said, we have a part 2 because I could tell you some stuff. But
I'm down with the part 2. Don't worry.
Yeah.
yeah. Um if they're constantly taking more from you than they are giving to you, and that is not money. I'm not talking about money. I am talking about the communication and of your time.
Emotion.
Are
Mhm.
you
All of that.
priority? Are you a priority in their life, or are you just somebody that they want to hang with? And then let's talk about the intimacy part of it. Is it all just about the sex part of it, or are they really interested in you? If your marriage were to last 20 years or something like that, and you change a little bit, because I know I'm different, would they still be into you, or would they go find somebody younger and if look for those flags. Look for those. And one of
And
the
pay
things is
attention, like you
look
said.
for
Yes.
the abuse in the language. It's not just about the hitting, because they
It's what you
sometimes
say.
it might be joking. oh, she's just, or and embarrass you in front of people and just say rough things.
Demean
Watch
you.
out,
Only gets worse.
demean you in front of people, and it does get worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. So I would say watch out and pay attention to the red flags, the communication, the affection, whatever everybody doesn't want the same from a relationship. So if it's not what you need, don't settle. Do not settle for.
Yep. Yeah. And talk and communicate. Ask questions.
That's why I'm
Ask
single now,
questions.
'cause I'm not settling
Ask
anymore.
questions to find out if they are a match. Ask questions. Find out what
Yep,
you like.
ask questions. Ask
You have the
questions.
last question, Harmony?
Yes, one last question.
I got one last question also.
Well, I thought mine was the
No, I said, do you have a last one?
I thought you said the last question. I was like, well, then how do you have a question before my last question?
Second to last question.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get better on part 2. Don't worry.
Yeah. So my question is, if you were to write a book now, recapping what you've done in the past and the book that you've written currently, or this book, not currently, what would you title that book?
Take your time.
Don't
That's
rush.
pretty good.
Yeah, take
That's
your time.
pretty good though.
Yeah.
Engineer, can we get a pause on that? Harmony, the button.
That's my fault.
There we
That's
go.
my
Thank
fault.
you.
That's my fault.
Lord have
My
mercy.
bad. My bad. Yes, I'm sorry.
Do it
Can you say
again.
that one more time? Can you say that one?
Yeah, there you go.
So if you had a title of a book that you were going to write now, currently, that you would compile, what would you call that name?
Take your time. I call it Take Your Time.
Yeah, girl. I like that.
I like that one better.
Engineer is horrible. We gotta get rid of him though.
Nobody asked either one of you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. It's just never ending. It's just never ending.
And you know what? Everything you think is love isn't. I mean, it's probably lust. So,
Or something.
yeah, or something. Yeah. Everything you think of as love isn't, and everybody you think is into you isn't. So
exactly.
It could be into you for so many different reasons. So yeah, take
so
your time, get to know them.
So I gotta just real quick. Normally during the podcast we do a video or crazy video, so we're gonna kind of wrap up this segment right now with this interview with Miss Katherine.
With my last question.
I
yes.
forgot you
wrapping it up. I
forgot you had a last question.
That's right.
I forgot.
Yeah. But go ahead if you want to keep going.
No,
Iceman, please go.
No, I will. Okay, so I guess my question is, if your life and whatever happened in this book were a fairy tale, we know who the villain is, but what would you use if it was a fairy tale? What would you use to defeat this villain, knowing that you know now?
If you could be a superhero, if you personally could be a superhero, what superhero would you be to defeat this villain?
What would you do to defeat him, basically?
Yeah.
What I'd do to defeat him?
What would you have done?
How would you?
What would you have done, I guess, ultimately?
What would I have?
What superhero would you be? Or superpower, or magic wand, or whatever you want to call it. What would you have done?
Would you make yourself invisible?
What actions would you have done
or make him invisible?
Fix that issue? Knowing now what you know, what kind of fix would you have done back then, knowing what you know now?
I would have turned back time so that I could start all over again.
And notice the red flags and pay attention to them?
Yep.
You would have been a time traveler.
I would have done that.
You would have been a time traveler and said, and rewind it back and said, not again.
Yep.
And that goes to your new book title.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Take your time.
That
travel,
all fits in.
take your time.
Going there.
That all fits in. We got your next book planned.
Catherine, it is such a pleasure to have you here.
Yes, I'm so glad we arranged this.
100%.
Thank you for asking me. It's been a pleasure being with you three also. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I have a question for you real quick. Just what do you have any questions or things that you would want to ask us or say to us three personally? Something that you would want to share with us, that you would want to ask us a question, or something along those lines. Because again, this isn't just about us hearing this from you. We would like you to ask us some questions as well. If you wanted to ask us something.
Yeah, give Big Daddy a question.
Oh my goodness. What would I
Big
ask
Daddy.
you guys? For you, Mr. Harmony, I would ask you what the secret is of your long-term marriage, and you also, um, I said,
Yeah.
what is your secrets for staying married for so long and so happy? I would ask you those questions. And for Doc, I would ask, um, I would love to find out how I
Like your damn question. I don't like your damn question.
Wait, what was it?
What was it?
I would love to have the exciting life that you have. I would love to find out how you meet so many fascinating and wonderful people.
How come Doc got the easy question?
He's got a
Because
time.
My life is hell.
Time.
Why do you think we do this podcast?
I will say,
trying to do some different stuff.
My answer. Hold on, Doc. I got to answer. Time. That's all I can say.
Still got to answer.
my
time.
You know,
being
honest. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just time. Just being not stopping. Not. Time. Iceman, your turn.
So when we first got married, I read a book called "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff." I don't know if you've heard that series.
Yes,
There's "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff" at work. There's all these things.
Learned that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what got me was if I was upset about something she did, but I know regardless of that outcome, of bringing it up and fighting about it, it won't change tomorrow. If it won't change anything, then I'm not. Why bring it up and cause a division, right?
Exactly.
A division. And then because pretty soon it becomes bigger and bigger. And pretty soon you're not talking honestly, like Jack kind of, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm being serious. Like, cause he disconnected from her, you know? And, so that I think don't sweat the small stuff. That would be that would be it.
Yeah.
I think that's,
stay away from the small stuff. Yep.
You know what? Really, the question I'd ask you is: I know you've been through a divorce just like I have, and how do you cope day to day with going through that kind of situation? You know.
I guess that's me. Yeah.
That's to you.
I'm gonna. Katherine, it was absolutely wonderful having you on the podcast, and
that's a good answer. Wow.
We've literally. I think we are running a long time. It was
Katherine, I want to say thank you,
to
Katherine, for asking that follow-up question. I appreciate that you asked him. I really appreciate that.
That's how you get him to shut up.
I do appreciate you asking that. I'm just, this deserves one of these right here.
Yeah.
You're not getting me caught up.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wrong one. Hit the wrong one.
There we go.
All right. Yes, weight of dysfunction.
I love you.
All right, so we're not going. You want to do a video, Doc? You got your video ready?
I don't have it queued up.
No, I think we should. I think we should.
We're in it. All right, so
we'll do it next.
Tri Virtual Roundtable. We appreciate each and every one of you for watching. For those of you that are watching live, thank you for taking the time to watch it live and in person. We completely, truly appreciate each and every one of you. For all of you multiversers that are watching as well, you know what? Talk to us when you're ready to be interviewed.
Thanks for that cameo.
Yeah.
Thanks for the cameo, Chronic.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping in our podcast and showing up. Appreciate it, Chronic.
Go to VR and Multiverse family for supporting us.
Yep.
Audio Jungle.